Tonight on YCN News, a lightning strike yesterday afternoon damages a condo in Lebanon, New Hampshire. 2 Vermont counties are given the chance to apply for federal disaster relief. And a basketball jamboree in our region. See which teams were there in our sports segment. For more news, weather, and sports, stay tuned for YCN News, bringing you your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening, everyone. It is Friday, July 31st. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kurt Weedy, and welcome to YCN News. Well, New Hampshire may be known as the place where political hopefuls flock every 4 years. But that doesn't mean its residents are as election inclined. A report by the nonprofit Open Democracy shows Granite State residents don't vote as often as one may think. Open Democracy was founded in 2009 by political activist Doris Haddock, legally known as Granny D, as she walked across America to bring attention to the corrupting influence of money in politics between the years 1999 and 2000. She died in 2010 at age 100, but her work continues today and resulted in the 40-page report that gives barely passing and even failing grades to New Hampshire residents. Not enough people vote in midterm or congressional elections, or even in local city and town races. To read the full report or a summary, you can go online to the website opendemocracy.me. A house fire in Lebanon, New Hampshire began yesterday afternoon after the home was struck by lightning. The resulting fire caused extensive roof and rafter damage to the home at 27 Rio Vista, unit number 302. Lebanon City Fire Chief Chris Christopoulos reported that the fire call came in around 4:15 p.m. of the 2.5-story wood frame building fire. Now, firefighters found a fire burning in the unit's attic. Damage is estimated at about $50,000 in that unit. The electrical circuit breakers of other units at the same condo complex were tripped or automatically shut off when the lightning struck. Mutual aid came from 3 other Upper Valley towns, including Hanover and Enfield in New Hampshire and Hartford, Vermont. By 5:53 p.m., the fire was declared under control and there were no injuries to report. Now, all questions relating to the fire should be directed to Chief Chris Christopoulos at 603-448-8810. Well, sticking with local news, tomorrow is the annual New London Hospital Days Parade. This parade begins at 2 p.m. The parade's theme this year is Back to the Future. Commuters can be prepared for traffic to be rerouted from the downtown area. Can't make it to the parade this year? Well, don't worry. YCN will be at the parade and will air a special presentation of the event. You can catch that at 7:30 and 10:30 p.m. on Monday, August 3rd. Also in New London, the non-resident taxpayer town meeting will be held Monday night. The meeting begins at 6 p.m. in the Sidney L. Crook Conference Room in the town office building. And one other New London event to tell you about on Monday night. This one begins at 6:30 p.m. A meeting will be held to discuss the water height in summer and fall of the Pleasant Lake Dam water levels. This water level does change each season, a posting on the town's website notes. Now, the height is about 800 feet each season, and how to manage the water level in the lake is the reason for this meeting. Coming up next on YCN News, 2 Vermont counties qualify for federal disaster relief. Find out which ones and why after the break.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News, everyone. Thank you for staying with us on this Friday evening. I'm Kurt Weedy. The Export-Import Bank is again reauthorized by the Senate. Now, it's not a bank as we may know it, yet it is designed to make it easier for businesses to sell goods overseas. U.S. Senator Kelly Ayotte of New Hampshire supports this plan, and in a news release yesterday, said she notes the benefits of this action. Business in the Granite State benefit each year through this program. Now, financing is provided to help local businesses with overseas sales. The U.S. Senate voted on a strong bipartisan basis to support the Ex-Im Bank, as it is known. Ayotte says she is hopeful members of the House of Representatives will do the same. A forced entry burglary occurred yesterday in Newfane, Vermont, State Police report. A home on Auger Hole Road was forcibly entered, and there are no names as to who was involved. A few people were interviewed as part of the ongoing investigation, and some were marked as persons of interest. The police need your help in this active investigation and are asking for any tips regarding this incident. If you know anything or anyone who does, you are encouraged to contact Sergeant Buckley of Vermont State Police at their Brattleboro barracks. That number is 802-254-2382. Now you can also call the State Police Crime Information Tip Line at 802-241-5355. Well, residents and property owners in central Vermont's Washington County towns of Barre and Plainfield did not qualify for federal cleanup aid, as we told you earlier this week. But that's not the case for Addison and Chittenden counties. Recovering from the storms on June 9th has been slow going, but President Barack Obama has signed a major disaster declaration for both the counties this week, which has given the counties the green light to apply for federal disaster relief. Now next week we'll bring 2 mandatory meetings for applicant briefings, hosted by the Vermont Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. The meetings will be held in Middlebury and Richmond, Vermont, and any towns looking to receive federal assistance should send a representative to at least one of these briefings. To qualify for federal aid in any case of natural disaster, damages must exceed $1 million statewide. An assessment on June 26th in Vermont saw $1.3 million in damage across the entire state, with Addison and Chittenden counties both reaching the threshold to receive federal aid. A crash between a tractor-trailer and a motorcycle yesterday morning near Holy Cross Road in Franklin, New Hampshire resulted in life-threatening injuries to the bike's 2 riders, according to state police. The operator and passenger of the Harley-Davidson motorcycle were med-flighted from the Franklin Regional Hospital to Dartmouth-Hitchcock Medical Center in Lebanon, New Hampshire, where they remain in critical condition tonight. The collision happened when the driver of the tractor-trailer, 67-year-old William Briggs of Chichester, New Hampshire, tried to turn left into Daniel Webster Farm. Briggs was traveling northbound on South Main Street before making the turn. Now simultaneously, motorcycle operator 53-year-old William Hansen of Franklin, New Hampshire, was traveling south, carrying passenger 46-year-old Marlene Lane, also of Franklin. The investigation continues tonight. Police say at this time it does not appear that drugs or alcohol were factors in this incident. Anyone that may have further information related to this collision, please contact Trooper First Class Michael Pelletier at 603-223-8699 or email the address shown on the screen below. Well, you may have noticed the beautiful full moon last night that dominated the night sky and lit up the landscape like the bright of day. These photos of the blue moon were sent in to YCN by 2 of our viewers, which, it should be noted, isn't your regular full moon. No, the moon wasn't actually blue, but it is a term used to describe when a full moon occurs twice in 1 month. Considering this is the last day of July today, this moon barely just made it in, and it was certainly a sight to behold. Now we'd like to remind our viewers that if you see anything that catches your eye in our region that makes our region unique, please send it to us by posting it on our Facebook page. You may see it right here on television. Coming up next on YCN News, we've got some Kearsarge Chronicle for you on this Friday evening. We'll be joining Liz Bailey and Lynn Solomon at Bubba's Bar and Grill as they talk about Kearsarge athletic boosters. Stick around for that conversation.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Mike Pizzone. Well, it was much more comfortable out there today with sunny skies and low humidity, and thankfully it looks like that trend will continue through the weekend. Skies will remain mostly clear this evening with calm winds and temperatures bottoming out at about 61 degrees. Tomorrow will begin with a slight chance of showers before about 11. Then skies will become mostly sunny, making for a nice comfortable high of 80 degrees. Temperatures will fall to a low of 59 tomorrow evening, before another mostly sunny day Sunday with a high of 80 degrees during the day and a low of 60 Sunday evening. Now let's take a look at our community calendar to see what's happening over the weekend. The 82nd Annual League of New Hampshire Craftsmen's Fair will continue tomorrow and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Mount Sunapee Resort in Newbury, New Hampshire. Cost is $12 for adults, $10 for seniors and students, and free for children under 12. Rockingham Old Home Day will take place tomorrow in downtown Bellows Falls, Vermont, with activities including live music, a 5K run, street performers, a petting zoo, and much more. Visit gfrcc.org for more information. Newport's Concert on the Common series continues Sunday with a free performance by Second Wind from 6 to 8 p.m. on North Main Street in Newport, New Hampshire. Sunday's show is sponsored by the Goodrich Oil Company. Well, it's felt nothing like winter out there these past couple days, but that didn't stop local high school basketball coaches from getting a sneak peek at their teams during a mini jamboree last night up in Lebanon.
Teams from Lebanon, Stevens, Newport, Kearsarge, Mascoma, Sunapee, and Fall Mountain headed to the CCBA in Lebanon last night for a mini jamboree that pinned teams together for a pair of 20-minute games. Officiating was laid back as to maximize playing time by eliminating free throws, making for a fast-paced atmosphere that played into the hands of quick teams like Sunapee. The Division IV Lakers earned a pair of wins over Division III Fall Mountain and Mascoma, much to the delight of head coach Ed Tenney, benefiting from more solid play from the team's duo of all-state guards in seniors Matt Tenney and Isaiah Chappelle. Fall Mountain coach Jason Bardis also had plenty to be hopeful about, with the emergence of his nephew Jake Bardis, who will join the team as a freshman this coming winter, and more solid play from incoming senior Cam Bushway, who hit his share of buckets last night. Second-year Stevens coach Matthew Baird Turney saw more growth out of his young team, led by senior forward Parker Smith with some strong drives to the hoop and more promising play from a variety of talented newcomers. The Cardinals took on neighboring Newport in a physical contest in what was incoming Tigers coach Greg Pickering's first taste of the Stevens-Newport rivalry. Senior Jesse Stifler continued his solid play for Newport with a handful of strong drives, as did some of the team's younger players eager to make an impact on this year's team. Kearsarge coach Nathan Camp and Mascoma coach Jim Barry also took advantage of the off-season jamboree, giving the pair an off-season look at the foundation of next winter's teams.
And turning to professional baseball, it was another good outing for the New Hampshire Fisher Cats last night, as the team earned its fourth straight win by way of a 4-0 victory over Reading. The Cats will try and wrap up July with a fifth straight win tonight when they host the Phillies again at 7. That's been your look at local sports. I'm Mike Pizzone.
Thanks, Mike. We will rejoin Mike in a second for our Week in Review segment as he talks with our news director, Lisa Connell, about the biggest stories of the week. Did you miss any of our newscasts and maybe feel like you missed something big? Well, stay tuned for the review and catch up on what you may have missed.
The YCN News continues in a moment.